Why would anybody in this chamber vote to fund a government that is going to mandate that people have to lose their jobs?
A question Congressman Chip Roy has been asking for days now as he pushes to shut down the government.
But this is a political decision with COVID-19 that is unnecessary. And I don't believe we should fund a government that's putting those mandates in place.
The clock is ticking as a deadline quickly approaches for Congress to make a decision by Friday night. 59.4% of Americans are vaccinated. Here in Texas, 69.96% according to the CDC. Do you really believe this vaccine is unnecessary, especially as we're now seeing this new Delta or the new Omicron variant?
People have the ability to make a choice. But if you're, for example, my dear friend, who is a teacher at a university, I won't say which one, and she has multiple sclerosis, and her doctors are telling her they're not all that interested in her actually getting this vaccine yet because it might trigger her system. Why does she have to choose whether to give up teaching?
But let's be honest, some of these conditions can be medically explained. They don't necessarily have to get the vaccine, and they would have medical exemptions for it.
A lot of people are not getting those exemptions.
Roy says Biden's vaccine mandate is forcing people to make a choice they don't want to make. Get the vaccine or risk getting fired.
We should stop that.
His plan to shut down the government.
Our desire is to force a simple question. Should a member of Congress vote to fund the very bureaucrats that are telling an individual, you must go get vaccinated or you will lose your job?
I do not want anybody to lose their jobs. But is it better to shut down the whole government over a policy decision? No, that's not the way to run the government without due respect.
Democratic Congressman Henry Cuellar says a shutdown means, as lawmakers, they fail to do their job, but it would also have a huge impact on you.
Shutting down the government will affect the productivity as a nation. And we're trying to get out of this pandemic.
Nobody in Washington should be mandating what one of my constituents does when they go into their doctor's office. That's it. And that's a position I am going to die on that hill.
The highest court in the country determines whether Roe v. Wade will be overturned. Fox Antonio's Robin Oguinia tells us why the future of this case is important to Texas.
The landmark abortion case Roe v. Wade could soon be no more. The Supreme Court heard arguments today on Mississippi's Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization. The case in question challenges a 2018 law in Mississippi that banned abortion after 15 weeks of pregnancy, except in cases of medical emergency or if a fetus suffered abnormalities. Mississippi's only abortion clinic sued, and a district court struck down the law, which sent it to the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans. The 5th Circuit upheld the lower court's ruling. What happens next could have impacts on Texas, which is currently facing its own abortion battle.
The Supreme Court upholds Mississippi's law. We know that about 20 states will immediately enact legislation that will limit abortion access in the country. And so what's happening in Texas will become a reality for half of the country.
Caroline Dubel, the political director for Texas pro-choice group AVOW, says Texas is already experiencing the fallout that an abortion ban has on limiting options for women.
Roe versus Wade, it allowed for abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy at any stage. And so for a long time, people have felt like that's unconscionable.
Jonathan Sayans, president for Texas Values, is not surprised Mississippi's case is calling into question the sustainability of Roe v. Wade.
The states are already ready for this to happen. The Supreme Court is really just catching up to what state legislatures, through their elected representatives, through the people, and through this pro-life generation, which is a very young movement, is behind.
People want to believe that the Supreme Court is an objective body, but in reality, justices are appointed by presidents who have explicit political agendas. So this will continue to be a political fight. AVOW has a plan in place to hold legislators accountable in 2022 for their vote on laws like SB 8.
Abortions in Texas past 6 weeks of pregnancy haven't been legal since September 1st. Not long after that went into effect, the U.S. House passed the Women's Health Protection Act. It protects women in their choices whether to bear a child or to end a pregnancy. Just make sure you stay with us. We'll keep you updated on the latest with the Heartbeat Law.
The message is simple, San Antonio.
We aren't out of the woods just yet.
Mayor Ron Nirenberg is advising you to keep your guard up against COVID-19's latest variant, Omicron. While it's not here right now, it has left some of you with questions. So we took them to your elected officials.
Has there been any conversation about the preparations that could go into place should Omicron pop up in the city?
Frankly, the big message here, takeaway, is get vaccinated. If you've been vaccinated, it's been 6 months, get a booster.
The message from city and county leaders is still the same as it was a year ago, and that's to not just keep yourself safe, but others, such as children who are just now eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine.
There has been a push for equal access to the COVID-19 vaccines since they first became available less than a year ago.
We saw the big pop-up clinics that happened with WellMed partners. Is that going to be available again? Should we need to get more people in for boosters?
I would say that we've applied different tools. We use different indices, so an equity index, a COVID-19 equity index.
Metro Health Director Dr. Claude Jacobs says the Alamo City has a ways to go to be fully vaccinated.
More than 1 in 3 San Antonians is not yet fully vaccinated.
Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf has a clear message about that number.
When people are not vaccinated, they will drive another pandemic for us.
San Antonio's COVID risk level is low and mortality rate is lowering. The positivity rate for COVID is up to nearly 5%, still lower than the 9.2% we had at this time last year. All are positive trends Mayor Nirenberg wants to see continue.
When you're answering that question, should I or should not get vaccinated, it's about more than just you.